You know, probably the most ridiculous accusation that have come my way by any subscriber or whatever has to be this. It was recent. When Kevin Durant announced he was going to sign with the Golden State Warriors, I had various commenters say pretty much the same thing. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but pretty much they've all said something to the effect of, oh, well, you criticized Kevin Durant for leaving OKC to go to Golden State, but you don't show the same outrage for LeBron leaving Cleveland to go to Miami. And after I actually picked my jaw from the floor, because it actually dislodged from my skull, and I had to put it back because I just was so shocked at how ridiculously stupid that accusation was. So I have to say this. Number one, I wasn't even uploading back in July of 2010 when he made the decision. All right? So I don't know what video you're looking at to show proof that I wasn't outraged. Okay? Number two, you wouldn't have found a bigger LeBron fanboy than me from 2003 to 2010. Not one. Okay? I was a fanboy. All right? As a matter of fact, and those of you who know my channel from before I was an uploader, I used to be called a LeBron lover. Remember that? So what changed my perception of LeBron to the point where I was becoming a critic of his? It happened in 2010. For some reason, I started looking at him with a more critical eye. Was that the same year that he left Cleveland to go to Miami? Or as we tend to say, he ran his ass from Cleveland to Miami to get a championship? I don't know how young some of you guys are. Maybe you don't remember the decision, because he actually put it on that. Like, it was an event. That's one thing I'll say against LeBron as opposed to Durant. LeBron made it a fucking event to just embarrass Cleveland fans. Well, him and ESPN. The decision is what made me look at him differently. All right? At the time, emotionally, I thought it was a punk-ass move. A very punk-ass move for him to leave Cleveland to go to Miami and team up with Wade, who was still in his prime, basically, and Chris Bosh was coming off a season averaging 24 and 10 in Toronto, if I'm not mistaken, to form what we call a super team. So LeBron is the guy who upset the current president that's in now, where guys are trying to team up and join super teams. So that LeBron's legacy is still sullied, okay, because he helped to usher that in. To this day, he still, I think, warrants some criticism because of that. Okay, LeBron James was the most hated athlete in the world at that time. Okay, everybody was killing him. ESPN, current NBA players, more a little tongue-in-cheek with the current ones. Former NBA players, it was way out there. Killing him. Michael Jordan, I couldn't imagine me teaming up with Magic and Larry. I was trying to beat those guys. You know, other guys, Barkley and probably Julius Erving. I can't think of other guys off my head, but Julius Erving and probably some other guys, okay? The very night that he made a decision, that very night, they showed video footage of Cleveland Cavaliers fans burning their jerseys, burning their LeBron James jerseys. My whole opinion personally of LeBron changed around that night, and I looked at him as a scoundrel and as a title chaser and all these other things that people are saying about Durant. But you know what? It's social media that's really giving it to Durant, not the mainstream media. Not really. You guys think that they're killing Durant? Oh no. He was fucking vilified by social media, by traditional media, newspapers, articles, magazines. He was a villain. He was the number one villain. As a matter of fact, that first year he was in Miami, he tried to use that to his advantage. Every arena he was going to, he was getting booed outside of Miami. And Cleveland, oh my God. I don't even think fucking Osama bin Laden booed that loudly. And what did he do? He'd go there and drop 38 points in 3 quarters or something like that with an easy victory against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So don't tell me that we didn't, because I know I damn sure did, give LeBron a pass, but a critical on Durant. Are you fucking kidding? But I will say this in LeBron's defense, though. With Kevin Durant, I said it before, and I'll say it again, what Kevin Durant did was far worse. It was worse. Number one, Kevin Durant's team, which according to some people was a weak team, which doesn't make any sense, okay. True, I think their record was something like 55 and 27 in the regular season, which is still a good record. And there have been teams that won a title with worse records than that. You know, see 2004 Detroit Pistons, 54 and 28. See the Seattle Supersonics in 79, 52 and 30, I believe. 1978 Washington Bullets, 44 and 38, the worst record ever for a team to win the NBA championship. Okay. 1995 Rockets, 47 and 35. You know, so there have been a lot of teams with poor records. 1975 Golden State Warriors, there was 48 and 34. I think the 1969 Boston Celtics were like 48 and 34 or something like that as well. So record-wise, that team, I don't really pay attention to records like that. You know, I pay attention to momentum and the time that the team actually starts gelling. And OKC was playing their best basketball of the season at the right time. All right, people forget that, like I said in the other video, this OKC team had beaten the 67-win San Antonio Spurs, a team that went 39-2 at home. After that game 1 blowout, when everybody said, "Oh, this series is over with," OKC proceeded to go on to win, what was it, 4 out of the next 5 games? And you can say something about calls and whatnot, maybe, yeah, whatever, but they still beat that team. And they had Golden State on the ropes, 3-1, a 73-win team. They had 3 opportunities to beat this team. 3 opportunities. And they failed. Kevin Durant has just as much to do with why they lost as Russell Westbrook and anybody else in their team. The one thing I did notice was that Golden State was trying to make other people beat them. And the gentleman, I think his name is Andre Roberson or something like that. He was being left wide open. He doesn't have much of a jump shot. And he failed. I remember that. Now, a guy like, what's his name? Oladipo, he would have knocked down those shots who they acquired. They made moves to try to improve and match up better against Golden State. OKC did. They got the guy, Ilyasova, I think his name is. He's more of a stretch 4, as you know, more so than Ibaka. He's an outside threat. He would have nailed a lot of those shots. He, Ibaka, and Ilyasova, and Oladipo. These names are killing me, by the way. My goodness. They would match up better in OKC scheme as opposed to Ibaka and Roberson, who I'm assuming like become more off the bench or might share time or be in certain junctures, whatever. I thought the Thunder had made moves to improve. All right, they were right there. They're right on the right there, and then you leave. And the thing is, and the difference too is, you just lost to this team a month ago, and then you sign with the enemy. You sign up with the team that beat you, that's been beating you. That very team. LeBron, at least they signed with the Boston Celtics. He signed up with a team because he was trying to beat the team he couldn't beat. Durant joined the enemy. In everybody else's eyes, and anybody who's not a Warrior fan or a Kevin Durant fan, he's a BENEDICT Arnold. He joined with the enemy. You don't do that. Also, at least with LeBron, he does have the argument, and the media's not going to talk about this. There was a lot of other personal things going on too. Okay, LeBron was having to play at that time in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics. He had to play with a teammate of his who is rumored to be believed, and I think it's true, was having a relationship with his mother. People, teammates, making fun of it, talking about it behind LeBron's back, not telling him about it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and you guys can remember this, LeBron had a very poor Game 5 of that 2010 Eastern Conference Finals with the Boston Celtics. I think he had a pretty poor Game 5. I think that, I might be having false memories, but I think it was Game 5 that LeBron had a very poor game. I think it was before that game, it's been speculated that's when he found out about Delonte West and his mother. Because his teammates had known about it, but they didn't tell him. Shaq knew about it. So he has that going as well. You're playing with guys who you find out haven't been square with you. Your teammates have been making fun of this behind your back. Your mother, okay? Not your friend, not your girlfriend, even your wife, your mother. I don't want to play with those motherfuckers either. So he left. Say what you will about LeBron. I sometimes get frustrated with how he plays the game and how he approaches it sometimes. I think he's too passive at times. But he proved me and he proved all the other doubters wrong this past finals. And I'll say this too. Whether you like him or hate him, when he went to Miami, all right, the year before he went to Miami, they lost in the, what was it, the second round or the first round? Can't remember which round it was, but I think they lost in the second round to the Boston Celtics. I can't remember which round it was, but I know they lost the playoffs to the Boston Celtics. When LeBron joined the Miami Heat in the offseason of 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, for 4 consecutive years, they went to NBA Finals. 2012 and 2013, back-to-back NBA championships. He leaves Miami. They're no longer a championship caliber team. Comes to Cleveland. What happens? Cleveland goes to the NBA Finals. Losing 6. Probably only because of the fact that, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love both went down. And people have been saying that argument all year, and Golden State Warrior fans didn't want to fucking hear it. Oh, we were beating them anyway. That's just an excuse. Injuries are part of the game. This year, go back to the finals, beat them in 7. I don't want to cry about the Draymond Green suspension. Fuck you, alright? Fuck you. Because it's one set of rules for when any team that you don't like have injuries or some other misfortune. It's part of the game. But do you want to blame the whole title collapse on the suspension? They would have beaten them any fucking way. How about that? I guarantee you this. I don't believe that OKC is going to drop as far as people think they're going to drop. Okay? When LeBron left, Cleveland went from a 61-win team to a 19-win team, if I'm not mistaken. Now, injuries played a large part in that, and I've made that argument as well. But OKC's not going to drop from 55 wins to 15 wins or 20 wins. No, they're still going to be, in my opinion, unless Westbrook gets injured for a long duration of time, they're still going to be a 40-something win team. All right? So, LeBron leaving and Durant leaving, there's a lot of similarities. But what Kevin Durant did was far worse. All right? Far worse. Also, in conclusion, when LeBron went to Miami, like I said, they hadn't won a title in 4 years. That team had totally been broken up. Some of those players had already retired or on their way out of the league, like a Shaq. Okay, Wade wasn't part of a dynasty or a dynasty type team in the making. Now, with them joining up, that what could be in the making, true. But this was a team that was coming together. At least I'll give him that. As opposed to Durant, Golden State doesn't need him. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm looking at the players that they've given up just to make room to sign a Kevin Durant. I don't think it's worth it. To have lost all these guys, part of your championship team, I think Golden State's are stupid for doing it. I didn't know they were going to lose this many guys. I think they're better off the way they were before. Yeah, you're gaining a guy who averages probably 28 points per game for his career, but I don't think it's worth that. So that's how I feel about it. Tell me what you think.